There were a lot of questions that were being asked with regards to the various elements of everything that is happening and what's coming down. This splitting essentially of, the splitting of particles in every subatomic, atomic level, all the way to the physical. So I can get into that later. There's a lot to discuss with regards to this dismantling that is happening in the Great Unraveling of everything, of the entire structure, containment field, container of this reality, and a part of this convergence, which is what I call the convergence of the event horizon. In actuality, it's the convergences of all of the events horizons that is occurring right now. It is something that has never occurred in the universe. And to my knowledge, it has never occurred in any universe in this manner. This is a first. So a part of the energies that have come in and the particles that have come in to undo this this dismantling, to begin the dismantling process, also means that every aspect of reality as we know it and feel it has been altered in energy, because everything is a frequency. A part of this undoing means a splitting, and it's a literal splitting of reality that is occurring. It is also a splitting within the nature of our chemistry, within the nature of our DNA, within the nature of everything that embodies how we have manifested here in body, with relationship to spirit and with relationship to all the other realms. And this splitting is unfortunately an incredibly negative experience for the camp that hasn't done the work. It is completely different for those that have and are doing the work. So what we're seeing is, in this container, in this containment reality realm, a tearing apart. And therefore, at this juncture, we decided to discuss more about what we are going to be seeing, because what we're going to be witnessing, what the world at large is going to be witnessing, is a tearing apart of the fabric of reality. And the things that we are going to be witnessing, and we have been witnessing, beginning to witness, are things that the physicists of the world would say would be absolutely impossible to happen. They have no bearing, no foundation whatsoever to even comprehend the nature of this. So what we're seeing at this juncture with regards to the splitting, the actual literal splitting of reality, and the dissolution of illusions, is that those that have not done the work, and many who've been in a situation where they chose not to be conscious, so they chose the golden handcuffs of this life, this experience, this journey from the beginning, that was co-opted by various forces in operation here, and principalities that rule. And these frequencies, I guess you would say they would be frequencies of darkness, even though ultimately there is no dark and light. That's part of the illusion here. But because we need a format by which to be able to explain what's happening here, we're just going to use that as a metaphor. So these forces that have come in, for those that have chosen to not be conscious and to not be in spirit, which means to be accountable and responsible for every choice you make in your creation. And literally every choice you make is a part of creation. For those that have not chosen to be conscious or awake, or even to struggle to be awake, because really this is what it's about, it's struggling to be awake. Everything that is within them, all of the propensity that they have within themselves, of mental disorders, of any kind of instability, of their shadow selves, it is coming out, and it's being emphasized more than anything. So in the past, prior to this conjunction occurring, and this convergence, there was a shield, you could say. There was a protection that prevented this from coming out, from coming forward. That's gone. So now we are witnessing the dismantling, literally the splitting within themselves of their own reality, of their own perception, of their own experience. It is falling apart. And so we are going to be seeing more and more events, more and more people that will be exhibiting whatever the propensity that they held within them that was maintained until now. So these things are going to be surfacing more and more. And that's only one aspect of it, because the other aspect, of course, is that the veils are literally being torn apart. And so we are going to be witnessing what is in actuality, and what has always been in actuality, present within this eternity program reality. It's an eternity program reality because we essentially create eternity realms. So we are going to be witnessing what is really here and always has been here, manipulating humankind and manipulating consciousness from the time of inception of the co-opting.
Think of it in terms of the hand of grace is going to be lifted. So where there were more protections in place, people are going to be more accountable for their thoughts and deeds. Where people would have been more salvoed for their ignorance and their irresponsible ways, people are going to basically be reaping the consequences of their behaviors more so.
Well, interestingly, the Bible even says that in the end days, that the Holy Spirit will be withdrawn. The invasion is in consciousness, so much so that you can't differentiate between your own thoughts and what comes from the various forces, which are archontic, and that Gnosis writings, right? They wrote about it, which is profoundly intriguing. How at that point in time they were a vestige left from prior ancient times, who were continuing the work of revealing the nature of what was really here. For some of us who were born witnessing the reality of all of the realities before us, we came, well, I mean, I can speak for myself, I came in the reverse. So for me, I witnessed what was really here from the very beginning, and I had to actually make my way into the 3D reality so that I could shield myself from what I was witnessing, because it was just beyond what anybody can imagine, actually. A part of this, where George said nothing new under the sun, interesting term, because this, we have read that throughout historical works from a very long time ago, and we do know that Shakespeare laid out very plainly that all the world is a stage, and that was no joke, because that is actually the truth. And we all know that Shakespeare was recruited to do the work that he did as a means by which to reveal aspects of this actual reality. Part of the dismantling, which is also, I would like to get into the positive aspects of this dismantling, because there are positive aspects in the splitting of it all. As the dismantling is occurring, we are also witnessing the glitches that are occurring worldwide, because the system is breaking down. So the containment system, matrix itself,
the hologram.
The hologram is breaking down, and we're witnessing this in the sun, which, for all intents and purposes, is not the organic sun that we may have remembered many years ago, which was more of a yellow, warm. Pretty much everything that we're witnessing in this reality has been altered in the hologram, because it is being revealed for what it is. And it is dismantling. So we are witnessing things that have never, ever occurred before in the nature of this hologram, an eternity system hologram, actually.
Yep.
And part of that is the Mandela effect. And many people might have noticed that there are a lot of subtle dysregularities that have been noted in this current parallel universe that we have been placed in as of recently, not that long ago, which is also parallel reality, which was the closest we could come to our previous one. I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm just going to say that these subtleties that certain people are witnessing, this all is concurrent with our old reality prior to being inserted into this new one, which is a darker version. But ultimately, the same thing is occurring in every single eternity system reality in association with our creation, which are many, many realities. And that is why it's called the convergence of the event horizon, because all of them will converge into one event horizon. So the unlimited matrix systems, the unlimited versions are all literally converging into the one. So
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. It's not all negative. Okay, it really is a matter of perspective, and really depending on your own level of evolution.
and consciousness.
Yeah, that exactly. How integrated you are is going to determine how much of a discomfort enduring this whole process is.
It is interesting how the nature of what we're experiencing is in the spelling of our language. There's no doubt about that, and that's something that we need to be mindful of. And ultimately, it would be wonderful to rewrite this, or rewrite the way we speak, and in the understanding of consciousness, because the key is in consciousness. The key is always in consciousness, and consciousness is what manifests. Consciousness is literally the building block of all creation in heart, spirit, not in the mind. It's completely different. What I wanted to bring up also is relating to what is occurring right now with these new energies that have come in and have been coming in since 2009. 2009 being a very critical year. It was the marker. It was the beginning of this. Are the symptoms associated with this dissolution evolutions. And these symptoms for many people are incredibly uncomfortable, painful, because you could say that we are being undone from the inside out. We are literally going through a metamorphosis of evolution, and this is not the word that is being used so much in ascending. That is such a deflection. That is such a incorrect term. What we are experiencing is a metamorphosis, because our consciousness is meeting literally our physical flesh, and it's altering our physical flesh for these deeper energy waves that are going to be coming in and continuing to come in as we metamorphose into that higher evolutionary state, which meets us in that consciousness that we are striving to fight for. And while we go through this process, we are literally being undone. And this is the reason why it is utterly painful. There's an exhaustion here that many people have never even felt before. It is a new type of exhaustion. It makes fatigue look like a wonderful state of being, really. The pain, the ligament pain, it feels like the flesh is being stretched literally, and like an elastic, in and out, and like your flesh is being morphed
reassembled
and reassembled. You are going through a reassembly, and that is no doubt about it. Now, for those that aren't experiencing this, I'm not gonna I don't want to alarm anybody. I just want to focus on the fact that for those that are experiencing all of these symptomologies, it is absolutely natural and it is a good sign. We're getting whammed. We are getting whammed big time and challenged. Many people's realities are being so challenged in so many ways that the feeling that they really have to hold on to consciousness, lucidity, and lucidity is key, is huge. So what I want to say about that is to stay in the heart as much as possible, because this is the greatest seduction that has ever occurred from the beginning. This is the sum total project result of eons in the waiting. So the greatest seduction is happening before your very eyes, and it's happening in the truth movement. It's happening
especially in the truth movement.
It's happening to such a degree that many people are having difficulty discerning in spirit anymore, and this is what we really want to focus on, because it is so overwhelming, and what we're witnessing is a totalitarianism on various levels of existence here, down to and especially in the areas of seeking, which has been completely targeted.
Well, put it this way, I mean, a lot of these players, the ones who we discussed with the adversaries playing their roles in this, or what they call their game, and everything being, you know, according to them, placing and allocating what is the white square and the black square in society. And it's all multi-leveled, it's all multi-layered, and basically they make sure they have contingency plans way ahead of time, and basically they know and they can computate where the level of consciousness is at a certain point in time.
It's all controlled opposition.
Exactly.
All of it, people. Even the truth movement.
Yep.
It's all controlled opposition.
And there's plenty of agents which have infiltrated the truth movement, and it's especially important to them because these people aren't stupid. They know that the people who have the most potential in light body, so to speak, are the ones who gravitate to, well, who are truth seekers, and not just, for example, pew potatoes in some religious institution. They are people who are actively seeking, and of course they're the ones who they want to neutralize the most and layer in their schools of confusion into people's minds. And there are many generational family members who are part of these
who've been commissioned.
Yes, exactly.
And that doesn't mean they're conscious in this lifetime, by the way, that they are hidden handlers and hidden masters.
Yep.
They are doing their job as per the commissioning that they were born into.
Yep.
And they are set up all over the truth movement.
Well funded, well organized.
And some not so well funded, and some not so well organized. Some are small. I mean, they are literally in every aspect of the
yeah, well, the ones that tend to get the most customers are the ones which are the most well funded and organized. And
it's a checkmate system.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say, and this is what we're trying to say. It's a checkmate reality system where the controlled opposition has every single square.
Yep. But like we said, again, looking at it from the positive aspect, they do have to adhere to the white squares, even in their game, and they do have to allow people the opportunity for the truth. So the truth, as cliche as that line is, the truth is out there. And it is within you, but you just have to basically unlock your consciousness and integrate it because it is within you.
The kingdom of heaven is within you, right? The Book of Thomas that was never accepted, which, you know, that saying I always love, because this is the universe. You are the universe. It's within you. You know, as above, so below, as within, so without. For lack of a better way of putting it, the devil hides the best within truth.
Oh yeah.
And it is within truth that the devil has mastered. And you won't see this more so as soon as your consciousness and you begin to have faith in your spirit, in the communication that you have with your own spirit, because there is nothing that you cannot see. There is nothing that your spirit will not reveal to you. It is inside you. It always was. A lot of what is occurring with even the way that everything, all the information is being revealed, many of it is, or much of it is agency driven.
Well, if I can just interject there. Okay. I did bring up in the last video that there are benevolence,
Yes.
which are interactive within this frame as well. It's not just
No.
the negative, malevolent beings whom are trying to snare souls.
What I want to say is that there are laws to how the benevolence interact with us.
Exactly.
And
they're very subtle and they're non-interfering.
Yeah.
When it comes to what we've chosen,
Yeah.
there is a law of non-interference. It's very, very important to stress that.
Yeah.
And quite often this, again, it comes down to our own accountability in our choices. Now, the thing is, when we talk about the catastrophes, because we did bring that up too, okay, and as part of the dismantling, there are going to be, it really is like the cut snake, which is going to be lashing out. Okay, now with that, there are going to be some difficult, unpleasant occurrences. I'm just going to be very frank in this. There are those out there in the truth movement, even in the New Age arena, all that, the alternative movement, blah, blah. Now, they speak of saviors, they speak about these alien races, and you know, they're going to want to come to save us and all that stuff, and they are going to be coming when catastrophes occur. Now, let me just say this, and this is very, very important. The true benevolence outside this universe do not require physical crafts. They do not require your permission to get on board any crafts or anything of the like. This is vital that people are aware of this, because this will form part of the Great Deception. And Lauda also brought up, I think it was in one of her blogs, about 3D printing, and that is just a very, very minor technology as to what these beings who will be crossing through at the appointed time, what they have in terms of being able to present themselves however they want, and how they can get into somebody's mind and basically spellbind them. It is
Project
remarkable.
Blue Book they have a much more sophisticated version, PSYOP, than Project Blue Book. That was a rudimentary version.
Well, but that's part of the disclosure.
You can't tell the difference between, reality and what is simulated. Although, in our next, in another work, we're going to be getting into what's real and what's not, and maybe going deeper into even what we think is real, but that's completely different.
Well, put it this way, the fact that they allow the very term Project Bluebeam to be revealed online is part of the white square window of opportunity for people to digest such knowledge. And let me just say, guys, it is no accident that the internet is here for this time in his story, okay? It is no accident, because, again, it is given for people to have the advanced knowledge, and this is why, for example, the Bibles are so widely distributed. You'll find one in, most hotel rooms and whatnot, and other religious institutions incorporating its themes and messages. It is because it's part
real being played, by the way, literally.
Well, yeah.
So
we've already seen a lot of that reel, and I'm glad you brought that up.
How humankind has been brainwashed to perceive is the programming. Literally, you have been
Or it starts from birth, sweetheart.
Well, this
Or even pre-birth.
This is what I'm saying.
Past lives, yeah.
You've been programmed from the moment
Of entry.
Yep. Into how to perceive this reality, so that you are its technology, and you're functioning on behalf of that like a computer yourself. Yeah. We'll get into that later. I want to try and simplify really complex things, because I just find that when it gets too complicated, and when it's too much quantum speak, it's too easy to get lost. So I try to simplify things. And the way that all humankind has been brainwashed from the get-go here is so that you are susceptible to the psychic virus of consciousness co-opting that has happened here from the beginning, and this is ongoing. So in essence, you're functioning like a program computer, literally. Now I want to get a little bit into the benevolent aspect of this, because there are a lot of people are wondering, where are the benevolence, where is the help, as George was saying. When I was young, I had experiences where I was taken, and I mean when I was very young, I was taken to counsel, and this is light years before any information was out there. I mean, I was, a very young. I think the first time I went to a counsel, I was actually 12 years old. So, and I was meeting up with adult beings, and I was, in body a 12-year-old girl, but not because of the way that I came in, and the fact that I wasn't really, I didn't come in with my mind swiped like everyone else. So I was privy to a lot of information, and one of the very first things I was told were the rules, the exact rules of the game here, and how on behalf of the universe, the planetary universal, I hate to put a name on it, because it's just like the conglomeration of all of the beings from all the worlds who convene on behalf of helping the universe. And they do have a name, but I just don't really want to have to put more names out. I'm sick of names, actually. So they gave me the rules of how it works here with regards to how they can help us and how they won't help us. And it's much like, helping a child, actually, because of the fact that we are seen as children to the universe who need to learn to do things on our own and become sovereign, and stop looking outside ourselves for somebody to come and help us and save us. So what they said is that they have rules, and it goes in accordance with our will and our consciousness and what we and the work that we choose to do. Now, when we do that work, they're actually able to have a guiding, a type of guidance that they can come in without having to alter our path in any way, shape, or form, or alter anything around us, because it's critical. It's like the butterfly effect. If something comes in and changes one thing, it's a butterfly effect. It changes everything. And they're adamant they don't want to do that. It's vital that we get this right on our own. It's vital that we return to the place of origin where we already were and are everything that we already are, only we forgot. And this is where we're returning. And they were clear about it. It isn't time anymore to be a child. It's done. We have to step into our adulthood and be willing to take full responsibility and accountability for every aspect of our consciousness. And when I say every aspect, I mean every choice and how we choose to live our life in every decision. So many people feel that there's no help, or that they have a difficult time feeling that guidance. It is there. It is within you. They don't need technology. as George was saying. They are beyond technology. I mean, technology is such a poor version. And ultimately, the most important message for all of you to take in is that there isn't any technology in existence, no matter how quanta the technology is, that can supersede the spirit. There isn't a single form of technology.
Well, it's interesting you bring it up, because just
that can overdo that. The spirit is and goes beyond. It is unlimited. There is no challenge. We need to return to what we are.
Yeah, it was really cool, that synchronicity that occurred, by the way, in one of your previous videos. I think it was part 3, where the moment you quoted Isa.
Yeah.
Others call him Jesus. We call him Isa. We know him as Isa. And you said, greater than these things will ye do. And right then, the white dog just ran right into shot just as you uttered that line.
Yeah. And ran and jumped in the air and
Well,
barked, didn't he? He was like
there could be a slight exaggeration there, but
like, he ran and barked.
Yeah, but he barked. It was like running through, and just gave a loud bark, and to me, I was just like, that was a beautiful synchronicity. Well, we took it as a synchronicity, because we don't believe in accidents or coincidences, and we thought, okay. So I'm not sure if the others picked that up, but we certainly did.
And there's a lot of people that are experiencing a new type of terror, internal terror, and it's happening more and more because they're feeling the disparity in the splitting, and they're feeling a disconnection to their spirit, and they're having a difficult time connecting to source, creation, creator. I just call it creation, source. So they're experiencing like that bridge is no longer there, and this sense of terror is because they're tuning into how wrong everything is right now, because of the dismantling process and all of these waves that are coming in and literally helping to undo everything in that splitting of reality, as well as the metamorphosis that requires that we literally confront everything that has been hidden within us all. So that is a big job to do, and it comes with terror, because you're tearing down all of the masks and disguises. You're tearing down and it's by force, because you really don't have power over it anymore. It's happening, and the need to be refined in that fire as this splitting occurs is really the confrontation that the polarity, the chaos the chaos that has been created to create division within oneself and within the world we live in the world of the black and white squares, the polarity, all that has to merge into one, because you are not that part of you that is like the black part of you is a part of you. Mm-hmm. It is
the shadow self.
The shadow self. So what's happening is it's a time to confront it all.
Yeah.
And you have to actually walk through, I guess you could call it your own hell, to get back to who and what you are in that place of the beginning, the middle, and the end, which are all one and the same, where there was no black and white. You are whole and complete, and the nature of division is not outside yourself. So the panic is connected to really feeling also the synthetic nature of this reality in the hologram that it is, and how it's breaking down.
Yeah.
And how it's allowing all these forces to and everything's panicking. Everything on every astral realm, on every reality is panicking, because what is occurring has never happened. What we'll be seeing is a lot more abnormalities in the sky and the sun and the moon. The sun can't even begin to tell you how many
Anomalies.
anomalies there.
And there'll be plenty more.
The Mandela effect, I mean, the Mandela effect really is going to be a common occurrence as the dismantling occurs.
Well, there's timelines merging as well.
All of it is
Yep.
converging. So this is what I'm saying. The infinity systems are collapsing. So there's a lot going on. We don't want to overwhelm everybody. We're trying to do this in a sequence.
I just want to say with that we're probably going to do another video expanding a bit more on the Chaos Magic video, because we just feel it's important that people digest and comprehend a bit more where we're coming from, and that it is not a message that is designed to inspire fear or any state of victimhood. It's meant to be quite the opposite.
And so something which I want to preface that with is that in my life I've had the paranormal from the beginning, and in fact the paranormal was what was normal in my reality. I had to actually learn this reality, which took me it took me 39 years actually to learn how to do this reality without the paranormal and supernatural. But what would often happen in my world and my reality is a lot of the supernatural and paranormal would just surface wherever I was, and so there's a multitude of witnesses throughout my life of so many events, and often
enough to fill up a book with.
Yeah,
and then some.
Exactly.
Maybe a volume.
So capturing and recording what I do is not new.
No.
So I want to just make that clear. I've also captured many things via cam in terms of what's in people and what's around people, and often through any kind of audio, a lot surfaces. And that's in capturing just that aspect of using the technology, but in my reality many things just would happen all around me anyway. But
yep. Well, and these entities love interacting with technology because it's pretty much their platform. And this is why what you brought up earlier regarding the technologies which will be utilized by these particular entities
have been.
Yeah, and basically they're master mimickers.
Well, they are master mimickers, and part of the possession within people that is occurring right now is very archontic mimicking, parroting.
Yep.
So they absorb and
harvest,
and harvest, and then they regurgitate. So we're seeing this all over.
And it's not from the heart.
No.
It's through the mind.
Yeah.
More than the heart.
And that's the key. If it isn't the heart and spirit, you got to question it. I mean, intellect and mind.
It can only take you so far.
It's great to have but if it's coming from that source, then that is in essence it's no different than a download that you get, and we all get the downloads, and we function on downloads. But it's what you do and how you and how the download, what you do with it. If you want to take the information, and another thing about the information is never take what anybody tells you.
Not even us.
Not even us. Do not.
Yeah, we want you. We are hoping, and this whole endeavor is simply to plant seeds, and we are hoping that it sparks something to those who are meant and who are ready to receive it. Many won't. Many, in fact, will probably, and I don't want to spell here, but we anticipate that people will think that we are part of the Antichrist deception structure, because we are going to be trying to break down the programs, and these are the programs not just in the political arena and through the hidden hands of the world, but also religious programs and whatnot, science programs, school programs,
education, every aspect,
multi-layered, multi-leveled,
literally every single aspect that is in this reality realm
utterly pervasive.
Is pervasive throughout everything, and
it has pretty much been instilled from cradle onto many people's graves.
And so they've they've been able to manipulate people using people's moral and emotional compass. See, they banked on that in order to really embed these programs. And it's easy to do because really they can just set anything up and you'll react to it because they want you to react to it emotionally.
Just pull the strings.
Or morally. They're pulling your strings, literally. So,
well, why do you think people join militaries and go and invade countries?
Exactly.
And that
it's
because
all a sham.
And actually, on that note, it's very interesting in bringing up that rampage that occurred just I think about 4 days after we put out that warning about people just doing really uncharacteristic, shocking things, and apparently this guy who went on that rampage and mowed down I think 24 people, killed one young girl. He was ex-Navy, and it's important to mention that when you do sign up and make a contract with these agencies, with these governments, agencies and departments.
Govern the mind. Government.
They tell you right there, guys.
Govern the mind.
See, it's all there in the spelling.
So chaos magic.
So basically, when you sign up and make a contract, you are basically consenting to be used in their sub-departments and their associated departments, which also includes aspects of the underground and more advanced secret projects, which are highly classified. And
you're signing up for eternity systems, which means that they'll sign you up for,
several lifetimes.
In the Navy, you're tied to the Nazis.
Exactly. And also the Air Force as well.
Nazi Atlantis, Nazi Antarctica, Nazi...
all the bases that have been established there. They try and hook you in when you're young and more so naive. And I know they tried to hook me in when I was around 18, 19. And that's what they try and do, because they try and get you while you're more in the sleep-laden stage of your life. And that's where they try and draft you. And the problem is, though, is when you make and enter one agreement of entrapment, it sets you up for other agreements. And basically the trauma of the previous agreements sometimes creates a negative spiral effect. And that's why it appeared he was using a lot of illicit drugs. And that was probably either to cope with the programming and the trauma that he was under.
And all those traumas experienced from the very beginning, it doesn't matter if it's a broken bone. Every single trauma experience, it doesn't matter what lifetime, it doesn't matter what parallel reality, it locks in a DNA cell memory, and it locks in a consciousness memory of the entire human consciousness mind altogether. It is an incredible system of retaining trauma which can be replayed over and over again. It is accessible by technology. I don't know if you remember seeing the movie Avatar, where it depicts the tree, and every single tree is connected, and it's all webbed. There's a web of consciousness that is alive, and that's what we are, literally. So they have technology to harness all of that so they can replay it. They can use the technology to literally re-trigger at any point in time, because it's already locked into your DNA cell memory and the cell memory of humankind consciousness.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and this is why we stress as well. We stressed in the last video the real danger of being seduced into illicit drugs and booze. I'll put it in a similar department, because it's all mind altering and it does lower your spiritual defenses. And this is the sad, unfortunate fact of what is happening with many people who come back traumatized in some way, shape, or form, and who experience trauma
without memory. They just experience the PTSD.
Yep.
It's alarming, and many don't have the memory context.
Yeah.
They just have the symptomology.
And that's the thing, and then it becomes your personal setup. And unfortunately, many people do not overcome that setup, and they don't escape that sense of victimhood And the thing is, we are meant to overcome that victim. Even if we've legitimately been harmed and targeted and victimized, we are not meant to make that our storyline. We are meant to overcome
We are meant
those set of circumstances.
to melt all storylines, all stories, because they're a part of the illusion here. And
So not to wallow in it.
once we really realize that, understanding that is where the power comes in how they control us, and how we, even our subconscious and whatever we've created, has controlled us. It is agreements that we've done within ourselves of entrapment within our own prison. The prison is in our minds, and that's what we literally create and manifest. Therefore, the more we understand that our consciousness is connected to our spirit and our heart, and that is unlimited, and there is nothing that can supersede that power, because that is pure sovereign power. However, in order for us to do that, it is vital that we understand that we need to truly, genuinely let go of the stories, let go of everything that is associated with any kind of trap of emotion connected to a story that in reality is just a part of the containment here. So that isn't you. You are spirit, and your origin in spirit has manifested the potential within body to be what Isa spoke of, which is literally manifesting spirit body meta being.
Yeah. And that's in following his example as well, guys, in the best way that we can. None of us here are perfect, okay? We all have our flaws.
It is all about sovereignty and the knowledge and understanding that you are spirit in body manifesting the ultimate becoming. To know thyself is to know that you are the kingdom of the universe and all the universes. You are. You must comprehend and feel and step into that knowledge, willing to dispense of what is and are the illusions of imprisonment on all levels. It is vital. The other aspect is in undoing the spelling that has been purposefully done to keep us locked into, quote, the prison mind. Even in saying to know thyself, by saying no. So there's the KNOW, which is actually the same as NO. So it is undoing the very thing that you're saying. So the more that we are mindful of how we speak and what we speak, because what we speak manifests, the more sovereign we become, because we are taking back the nature of all that we are.
Yeah.
Because it's about becoming, and the awakening is part of the process of the becoming. The elect simply means those that are conscious and that have been fighting and struggling to be conscious through this process. Because we are dealing with something that is the event of all events. We haven't even begun to tap into everything, but we will be seeing literally every aspect of this hologram undone, and it will be witnessed. I will get into my own experiences seeing through and into the hologram as a child. This is how I learned about the nature of this reality literally being a hologram. I'll get into that at some point later on. What I want to end with is saying that many people want to know how they're able to step into their true power of sovereignty and their true power, period, that supersedes anything, any technology, any ailment. And the basis of it, I'm reminded of actually Isa saying that, with faith you can move mountains. So if we do not have that faith within ourselves and truly, truly live that and breathe that, and it's all the breath. Breath is what is being. then we can't step into it. We create our own block. So part of letting go of all the stories and dismantling our own illusions, which are all the lives up until this very moment of breath, is literally stepping into that gnosis of faith within all that we are, which is unlimited, eternal, and whole and complete. There have been many precious libraries kept hidden within our blueprints, our original blueprints, that we had to hide for this very purpose and this very time. So this is a part of how we are accessing our abilities, which we need to truly feel is true, because it is true.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, sorry to interject. You could have come out decades ago with the knowledge you had.
Absolutely. Yeah.
However, you felt held back within, and that your own spiritual guidance and your own innate being knew that people were not ready for it, and not only that it would have been potentially dangerous.
I was absolutely shown that it would have been absolutely dangerous if I would have come out earlier. There's no doubt about it. I could have come out when I was 15 with all of this, really, because I came in being shown.
Yeah.
And I'll get, and you know, I can't elaborate on everything because there's too much. So, you know, this is, we're taking this one step at a time, because we don't want to overwhelm anybody either. And we really want people to focus on their true whole beingness, and the fact that the spirit and the body are joined together to make the most profound alchemy in existence in the meta becoming. It's meta becoming. This is the true purpose of this. In dismantling everything that is synthetic, artificial, dismantling everything that is a manifestation of thought creation, whether it's co-creation or singularity, which is, you know, or digital or tertiary. There are so many aspects to the architecture of it all. What I will say is that a lot of the hidden hands are now outer hands, and they are everywhere. So it is vital for us to discern what we are seeing in the great controlled opposition game that is taking place, which is a part of the greatest seduction going on out there.
Yep.
And
really the name of the game is to avoid checkmate.
Because it's a checkmate reality. So be in the center of the tornado.
Yeah.
And the center of the tornado is an aspect that I will get into later, but essentially it is as you witness things dismantling around you, the peace within, in the knowing that you are literally all of the universes, that you are and always have been. What is the wholeness of it all? The void. Okay, and the void is not a scary thing. When you can sit within the center of that tornado, of the tornado that is occurring in this convergence of the event horizon, the convergences of the events horizons, then you can just watch the stories melt away.
And be still.
And be still. In the breath of life, of true life. And that is the crystal consciousness that I speak of.
Because we are not our surroundings, we are not our environment.
Or the experiences thereof. Those are experiences towards our evolution and our metamorphoses and the remembering, the putting together of our body and our bodies. Thank you.
I really enjoyed that. I think
Thank
I just
you.
want to keep on talking. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and
Yeah.
And we look forward to bringing you more information and sharing more. And we thank those as well who are sharing
with us.
Yeah,
and,
light truths and
who are with us in this journey at this most incredible time in the entire eternity systems of the universes and the metaverses. So
yeah.
And we are in the metaverse.
And certainly never alone.
No, never alone. Much love.
Much love, guys. Till next time.